So Keir Starmer, you've come to Harlow today. What message have you brought to this particular business in Harlow?
Well, I've come to Beard and Fitch here in Harlow to listen rather than deliver messages, to hear from them about the challenge they've managed to keep going for the last 3 months during the health crisis, but really to talk about the challenges going forward. What they're concerned about is that other businesses that feed into them, fill the order book, survive. And that's why my message to the government is focus your support on the businesses that really need it. Don't have a scattergun approach across lots of businesses, some of whom don't need that support.
In particular, which businesses would you prioritise?
Oh well, hospitality and travel and the high street are obvious areas I think that are going to struggle for longer to get back to business. Other businesses happily will be able to get back to a degree of normality more quickly. So don't have a scheme that's got dead weight, as the Chancellor himself admits. Dead weight means you're putting money where it's not needed. At a time like this, you need to put all of your money where it's absolutely needed.
Do you feel at some stage you're going to have to come out with some form of grand strategy, some big statement? Otherwise people might see you, sort of as conservative right.
What I'm concerned throughout this is to act in the national interest. So party politics shouldn't play a part in the response to the health crisis or the economic crisis. I fear unemployment on a level we haven't seen for a generation. And all of us, whichever party we're in, need to do everything we can to try to mitigate and reduce that. Because that scale of unemployment will have a devastating impact on families and on communities. And here in Harlow in Essex, the numbers of people who are losing their jobs, the number of people who are claiming, has gone very high in the last few months, and I'm very worried about that.
A couple of months ago we reported there were 17 deaths at Ty Green Lodge, the care home in Harlow. Whose fault was that?
The government has to take responsibility for the tragic losses in our care homes. And I was beyond disappointed to hear the Prime Minister on Monday of this week trying to shift the blame from the mistakes the government's made onto the very care workers who've been on the front line through this crisis. They've been going to work, looking after people in those care homes, putting their health and literally their lives at risk. And for the Prime Minister to try to shift the blame away from the government onto them was shameful.
Out here, turn right, Princess Alexandra Hospital car park. That should still be free for NHS staff, shouldn't it?
Yes, it should. We can't clap our NHS staff and our carers on a Thursday night as we used to, and then say, by the way, now you've got to pay for parking, which will make it more expensive to go to work. We should be rewarding those that have given so much in the last few months to keep us going through this health crisis.
And finally, I run 2 online newspapers, hyperlocals. I have done for 12 years. And yet the government have given out 35 million in public health advertising, but won't give it, as I understand, to online, digital, hyperlocals, and there's hundreds of us across the country. Would you pledge to speak to your Shadow Secretary to look at that and look at those decisions and look at the help they can give online, independents and hyperlocal news in these times of struggle for news?
I think we have to support our local news outlets in digital form and other forms. Very many people get their news from local outlets. Very often it's the news they actually trust more than perhaps the national. And so it's very important that we support and make sure that local news outlets can not only survive but actually thrive through this.